Okay, I think it's now time for the Admirals walkthrough of Royal Commander from Barnes Brinkcraft. Yes, I've got to say I've spent a week on this vessel, and she's actually quite a lovely wee boat, I must admit. She's what's known as a Pearl 38, which means that she's about 38 foot long. She's a centre cockpit, so the whole canopy is electrified, slides on down, and much like Royal Stuart, she has a wee hatch just at the side hatch where you can pop your head up, but I'll show you that later. She is also equipped with a bow thruster on the front, which is very, very handy, especially when you're coming into a tight mooring like this particular one in the bottom corner at Ranworth Staithe. She also has an electric winch up at the front. Once again, I'll show you that. But what we'll do is we'll take your... Excuse the engine, I'm just running the engine to charge up the batteries at the moment. Quite a nice wee sort of wide freeboard as well, as you can see. With my foot there, plenty of room, and she also has these sort of grab handles all the way up and on the roof as well. You know, there's the wee hatch there, very easy to slide along. Unlike Royal Stuart though, this one does not have a separate lock and key to slide it and lock it from the outside. You can only open this from and close this from the outside. She has a nice wee windscreen wiper, and obviously once again a solar panel. It doesn't really do much, it's more just of a chickle charger just for the batteries. Nice wee grab handles up the front here, and as you can see there is a wooden pole. There would have been a flag there, very similar to what was on Royal Stuart. I wish there still was a flag there, but obviously it's probably got a wee bit tattered and they've not bothered replacing that. So it's a wee bit of a shame, you know, and obviously just down the front there is the electric winch. It is controlled from the helm seat, and obviously if there is a wee issue with the mechanism, if it does some jam or something like that, there's a wee hole here and there's a handle by the helm seat where you can manually reset and pull the mud weight up, so there's no problems there, you know. Once again, nice wee light for the forward window for the forward cabin, and just back down the other side there. Much the same as Royal Stuart, very, very similar in design to Royal Stuart. Whereas Royal Stuart was only a 35 foot, this one is obviously slightly larger with at 38 foot. Royal Stuart only had 2 bedrooms, this one has 3 cabins and 2 en-suites, and I must admit she's very, very comfortable indeed. Right, let's go and have a wee look inside it. Obviously you've got the telescopic TV aerial here, you know. It's obviously set down to its low side, I never really use it, but you can whack that up to a height and get a nice wee reception. 2 double doors to open, this one's obviously open at the moment, and you can just recatch and you can open that up and completely have the whole back end opened up. And you step down into the master cabin. Now, once again, excuse me, this boat is lived on. I am taking it back tomorrow, so it's a mess, there's no doubt about it. It's early on a Friday morning and I've not had a chance to properly clean it up, so this is basically, apologise for any mess, but I've been living on it for a week, you know. But yes, first thing you come to is the bed, and I must say, you know, it's a small double, and I must admit the length is well, if you were over 6 foot tall, that length is going to be a slight issue. I am 5'10", and literally my feet from there and my head can just about touch the headboard at the back there. So if you're quite a tall person and like to stretch out, it's going to be a wee bit difficult for you. It's a small double, but it is very comfortable. At least for one person sleeping in it. There's still plenty of room to move around. Obviously you've got a wee sort of a shelf there, and there is obviously just under the freeboard here there's actually a wee shelf down there for you to be able to put your anything that you wish to have handy overnight. You can probably see keep a wee can of juice there just to wet my whistle in the middle of the night. Lovely big windows though, and lets in a lot of light. You know that obviously you can open them slightly, these two windows. Lets in a lot of light, a lot of ventilation, you know, especially with the huge double doors there and the big window, and very, very good. You get the wee light switches. This one controls an outside light and this one controls the interior lights, and you can also control them with the wee switches on each individual light up here, which obviously don't come on because I need to switch them actually on. See, like just like that, and that's not actually going off, so maybe that doesn't actually do any, so I'm talking rubbish obviously. But all the lights and the other ones do actually work on that switch. You've also got a nice wee reading light which is controlled up there. If I'm honest, that is a little bit too high. It's right the way up on the ceiling. As a reading light, that would have been handier just a little bit further down, because obviously when you settle down you've got quite a stretch to switch that off. But it's very, very nice and very, very usable, and I must admit I've actually enjoyed sleeping in this because it's been actually quite comfortable. Much like Royal Stuart, very, very comfortable bed indeed. Down here you've got a wee drawer, a heating vent and another drawer. Yeah. Behind you you have a full length mirror. There is this is a 240 volt bolt, so you do have a plug socket and a shaving point. I'm sure there is a reason a plug socket is up near the roof and not on the floor, where it might be a wee bit more useful, but that's where the plug socket is, you know, and obviously there's no shelves or anything like that, so yeah, anyway. You've got a nice wee cupboard here with your hanging, a few coat hangers. You've got your rond anchors down there, and obviously the obligatory dustpan and pail, you know. Here is the ensuite, the first of the ensuites, and yeah, very nice, usable. You've got a wee hook up there, wee sort of towel rail, your toilet with the pump. It is an electric flush over there, and there's your shower pump switch for when you're having a shower, you know. And obviously it's a reasonable sized basin, you know. You've also got a wee heating outlet there, so in the colder months it would actually be a wee bit sort of nice and warm in here. All the wee sink, you know, obviously I've no longer had a shower, so you know, it's actually a slightly different setup here, in that you've got a separate taps for your sink, and you've got your separate taps for your shower, which is just up there. A wee mirror, another wee light there, and over here that's where you attach the shower head when having a shower. It's alright, it's actually not too bad at all. It's like most boat showers, they are a wee bit sort of cramped and confined, but perfectly usable. There's never had any problems with that, and able to shower quite easily. The only thing I will say is that you see this curtain is closed. It's closed for a reason, and you open it up and okay, lovely light, you know, fantastic, big windows, once again a nice wee vent, but they're not frosted. The windows are not frosted, which means that if you sit down and have your morning toilet business, anybody and everybody can see into you. So it's like, yes, okay then, I'll just slide that on over. So yeah, I've actually been keeping that. It's a bit unusual having a toilet without a frosted window, but okay, that's just the way that it is. It lets in a lot of light, but yeah, you're gonna want, if you're next to people, you're gonna be wanting to pull that curtain shut so nobody can see you doing your personal hygiene business. So yeah, that's a wee bit of an odd thing, but yeah, that's not a problem. Just pull the curtain and there's no problems. Obviously behind the door here you've got another wee couple of hooks, and you got some more shelving just down there, you know, which is no problems whatsoever, you know. So plenty of storage, you know, and very comfortable and very usable, and yes, really enjoyed spending my time here. Then it's straight on through into the galley, and I've got to admit, it's actually quite a spacious galley, you know. You've got wee cupboards up here which has the obligatory glasses and stemmed wine glasses. I love Barnes Brinkcraft for their stemmed wine glasses, and another one up there where you can get your Barnes Brinkcraft mugs. Obviously a wee sort of lights, hanging utensils. Not too bad in the kitchen space. Obviously you've got all the way around here, the cooker, and then obviously some more kitchen space here down by the sinks, you know. So not too bad on the kitchen space at all, you know. You've got a drawer here which has all your utensils, although I don't know why, but I think the runner's a wee bit needing sorted because it keeps opening up a bit. You covered it in there with your cutting board and all your various bits and pieces, and of course in here, you know, all your plates and more shelves for storage, you know. She has a 4-burner hob with obviously the obligatory oven stroke grill in there, electric wee switch there, and something that you can do is shut that down and yeah, just sort of hides the rings away. Quite nice wee thing there, you know. And obviously once again quite large windows on either side of the galley, you know. Down here you've got another cupboard and more cupboard space there, and that's obviously where your bin is kept, you know. So all in all, you know, you got a wee sort of a light switch there, another wee hook, you know. You got these here, you could hang all the towels and if you were needing to dry them out or store them. So yeah, I mean, all in all, I would say this is actually a very usable galley, you know, for what it is. And because it's gone from beam to beam, well, beam across rather than length across, it means that you actually get a lot more space than you would expect. You know, everything's to hand, you know, everything's easily grabbable, you know, and yes, very nice, you know. But once from the galley, we then up a couple of steps and into the saloon. We're passing by the fridge, which is the obligatory fridge. Actually, see, it has a nice wee freezer compartment though, with ice cubes. Something I've not seen on a boat for a long time, proper freezer compartment. And as you can see, all the various, you know, just a standard sort of fridge, you know, good size, nice freezer compartment. So yeah, lovely. Up to the left is the microwave, and obviously following that you have the obligatory TV stroke DVD player, you know. First thing you do notice when you walk in here is just how much light there is. You've got all the glass out the back, you know, huge lovely windows out the side, good sized windows out the front, and once again large windows down the port side, especially when you've got that sliding hatch which is glassed on both the side and the roof. Loads of light just floods in, you know, absolutely fantastic. So yes, and you've also got these lights on the roof here. You've got 3 of them in total, and you've got one on the rear bulkhead, you know. Continuing on from the TV, you've got another wee shelf here for storage space, and you've obviously got a wee pull out, your obligatory pull out table there. Just going back to the TV, which I forgot, I won't do it because I've got stuff here, but if you lift that up, that actually does lift up, and you look inside, that is where there is a hoover stored. Maybe a wee bit awkward having the TV on top of that, but once again, how often are you actually going to use that? And you can just pop the TV up into the microwave, open, get your stuff out, put it back, pop the TV down. Very, very handy, very good. Over here, you have the switch for the inverter and the obligatory I'm sure you all know these heating systems by now. Hot, cold, and you can adjust the temperature as well, you know. Not really used that this week, unfortunately. I'd used it one day just to sort of take the chill off the air, and it seemed to work very, very good, you know. Obviously down there you've got a heating point, and here, which is attached to, I've just got this sitting here at the moment. That does, I'll show you in a second, but that is basically your electric operated canopy switches. It's a key, you know, and they fit in both, you know, it's the same key, and basically you want the canopy down, put it in, turn it, and canopy goes down, and you want it up, same thing. It's alright, it's alright. The only thing that is the canopy is noisy. It's a loud canopy when the motor's in action, but perfectly usable. And what you do is you take these pins, and the reason it's kept on a string like that is to basically so you don't lose it. It's attached to these pins, and what you do is you take the pins, and up here on the canopy you pull the wee string, put the pin from here into the hole, and that locks the window in place. You do that on both sides, you know, and you just lay the string along here, and that keeps this secure, so nobody can sort of lift it up and sneak in, and it also means that you don't lose the key at all, and you can get the key when you need it. Also means is that you cannot lower the canopy without forgetting to remove the pins. So you've got to remove the pins in order to get the key, in order to take the key and use the key on the motor in order to put the roof down. So it looks a bit rubbish, you know, I must admit, and a bit messy, but it's there for a reason, and it's a simple solution that works. So, and quite frankly, you know, you just sort of keep it out of the way, you know, it's not a problem, you know. I keep it in there just for handiness, you know, but obviously you can put the canopy down and put it away, and not a problem. And then you go into the helm position, you know, and I must admit, this is quite a comfortable seat actually. Yeah, I was not done a massive amount of cruising on it this week, but I've gone away down south into the Southern Broads, and I found yeah, it's quite comfortable actually. Never had any sort of lower backache or thigh ache or anything like that. I did discover as well, I discovered this myself, is that when you first sit on it, it seems to be a wee bit narrow, you know, but what you can do is that it won't pull out because I've got my wee mount there, but you can actually pull that out quite a wee bit, you know, which deepens the seat, you know, and makes it a lot more comfortable. So yes, that's actually a lovely wee, it's a simple yet ingenious redesign, you know, so that you can actually have a nice sort of stepping area here, you know, with lots of room to stand up when you need to, but when you're on a long cruise, you can sit down, pull that out, and you've got a nice comfortable seat, you know, with plenty of rest for the backs of your legs, and be able to sit down on a nice deep seat. So that's very, very nice. Got a nice wee shelf there. I just use that for storing all my wee bits and pieces. Yes, obviously the hatch there where you can pop your head up through the roof if you need be, if it's maybe nice but not nice enough to lower the roof. You've got a couple of cables here. You have to, this is the one thing you do have to remember and do, much like the pins at the back. This cable here is attached to the windscreen wiper. Now, you don't really need to touch that, you know, unless you're folding the windscreen down. If you're folding the windscreen down, you need to just pop that out. This cable here is for the, that should be in there like that. That is for the lights on the canopy roof. These lights here. That's what they're for, you know, that switch there. So if the roof is closed and you want to illuminate the saloon with the roof lights, you need to make sure that that is pushed in, otherwise they won't work. This light here at the back here obviously works regardless, you know, so there's not an issue there. And it's, I'm quite sure many people have put the canopy down, forgotten about that, and it probably pulled it and busted it and what have you, because there is threads there that would indicate that it would usually be screwed down. Now it just pulls out, so if you do forget about it, that's just going to pull clean out, you know, in theory, you know. Yeah, so that's what that cable is. Obviously the helm is very basic, you know, just the usual sort of temperature gauges, the rev counter, the batteries, and your warning lights. Obviously over here you've got your throttle control, your domestic and your inverter batteries here, and obviously all your things like your bilge, your wiper, your water pump. That is for your electric winch, down and up, and of course horn, and down here is your bow thrusters. I'm quite sure by now you know all about how to use the bow thrusters, which are actually quite good bow thrusters. Down here is the CD radio cassette player. It is an older unit, so there is no auxiliary socket to plug into, you do need to remember that. If you are coming here, you can't plug in like the likes of your iPod or anything like that. You'll only have the CD and the DVD player there. You've got one speaker there, and just behind the curtain there, which I'm hiding at the moment, is another speaker. The steering wheel is much like Royal Stuart, and it is lovely. I really love this design, this sort of old-fashioned nautical steering wheel here, surrounded by this sort of metal ring, which means it's comfortable and easy to hold, regardless of what steering input you have going down. There is a wee sort of a masking tape here that lets you know when the rudder is dead straight, but once again that's very rarely you'll need to actually know that, because if you're going down the river you'll have a good idea of exactly what's your bow is doing. As you can see, loads and loads and loads of lovely light from huge windows, so yeah, really lovely place to stay. Stepping off, lovely seating, nice and comfortable to seat. You've obviously got some wee sort of shelves as well, and a wee shelf up here. And that's the saloon. Down here we go into the forward part of the boat, and the first thing, and probably one of my niggles about this boat, will occur in this door here, which is your second bathroom, you know, and much like the bathroom in the bow, you've got the rail, you've got the shower, separate shower taps for the sink and the shower. It's a wee bit more cramped, I won't lie, but I've not used this shower, but you can just tell a wee slight slope to the shower tray there, another heating point, the same sort of obligatory toilet with the foot and the toilet flush and the shower pump all there. You've got a mirror, another hook, and of course another light, and much like the forward shower, you have windows which are not frosted. Very good if for letting in light, not so good if you're taking care of personal hygiene stuff in here. So once again, I was having that slid over. Why was I having that slid over? Well, I was having that slid over because I didn't want people looking into this window, because this is the one thing that niggles me about this boat. The cigarette lighter socket. It's not located on the helm. It's located in the forward toilet, the forward head. Now, I'm sure there was a perfectly logical reason for putting a cigarette lighter socket in a toilet, but I've no idea what the logical thinking behind that is. What did they think people are going to do in a toilet that requires a cigarette lighter. So yes, obviously, as you can see, I bring down a cigarette lighter with a USB hub, you know, and I've been literally charging all my stuff in the toilet at the end of the day. That makes no sense to me whatsoever, but it is what it is. It works fine, you know, you don't have to have the engine on or anything like that. You just plug it in and it works much like Royal Stewart, brilliant. And it's been fantastic, you know, I've been able to come in, moor up and just sort of, yeah, but it makes no sense to me whatsoever having that located in here, you know, in the toilet of all places. Still, it is what it is, so there you go, that's where the cigarette socket is. Coming out here, we will then cross the hall into the second bedroom, and I apologise for the mess of it, but this is literally where I've been leaving everything, putting everything so that the master cabin is free. It looks to be just basically a single. It's quite wide up here, it tapers quite a bit at the bottom. You could use it as a seat, I suppose. It seems perfectly usable. It feels quite soft. But it's very short, and much like the master bed at the back, it's a small single, you know, so I would probably only have a child in here, if I'm honest. I think an adult might be a wee bit too cramped, because of the shape of the bed, especially how much it narrows at the bottom here. But you do have the windows, you do have a wee coat hook there and a coat hook there. You've got a wee cupboard here, you know, with a hanging space. It's not a bad cupboard actually, quite a good size, you know, you can hang your whatever you wanted in there. You've also got shelving down there, a wee shelf up there, the obligatory light, wee heating vents as well down the bottom, and also down here is probably a wee sort of storage area there as well. So yeah, I mean, I've been using this, I've just literally been dumping everything in here, and it's, you know, for a utility room almost, perfectly fine. Not sure I would want to spend a week in this bedroom sleeping in it, being an adult, but for a kid, I think perfectly fine, perfectly usable, you know. You've also got a wee, once again, a wee shelf just up there, put whatever, you know. And that is the second bedroom. Then we go into the bow of the boat, and I must admit, I quite like this bow. I almost moved into this, into this cabin rather than using the rear cabin, you know. First thing that strikes you is that oddly there is a sink, you know. Looks a wee bit odd actually, a wee bit out of place, but I kind of get it, you know. If you're getting up in the morning, you know, get yourself a wee bit ready, you know, get a wee bit sort of a shave and a wash and all that, and yeah, you know, definitely a throwback to older design boats, that when a lot of the older design boats had that sort of setup. But yes, you could in theory put another single in there, but yeah, I mean, that makes to me it makes perfect sense, you know. And if you just kind of have to get used to it a wee bit, because it does intrude a wee bit into the bow cabin, you know. But the good thing is that it does give you plenty of counter space here. Up at the top, you've got the windows again, some more storage there. You've got a light. You've got 240 volt in a better place than in the master cabin, you know, because it's quite near a shelf, you know. Either way, got a wee sort of a cupboard here, no hanging space in that one. A wee heating outlet there. Loads of coat hooks on this boat. Another wee mirror, another wee reading light, and once again more tons and tons of glass that lets in lots and lots of light. You got a wee shelf here, but that looks like a proper large double bed. You know, now I'm not sure, but I think that this bed is probably larger than the master cabin. It does taper a wee bit around the shape of the odd shape of the bow, but it actually looks like a properly large double bed. I saw this cabin and I was just like, oh yeah, I could take this cabin. I could so easily spend a week in this cabin. There's not a lot of headroom up here though. I mean, like I say, I'm 5'10". I'll just show you. And yeah, I mean, standing straight up, I'm probably actually touching. In fact, I am touching the roof. So yeah, there's not a lot of headroom, so you do have to crouch a wee bit. But once again, that's just the shape of the bow. There is also a wee sort of escape hatch, so if it does get a wee bit warm, you can undo that, pop the hatch, you know, and let a wee bit of ventilation in. And down here at the bottom, I don't know if you can see, there is another couple of drawers, and round the corner under the sink you've got a really deep shelf, you know. So yeah, actually a lot of space for this, you know. It's almost like a VIP cabin rather than the master. Very good. I really did like that, you know. But yeah, and that is it. That is the Admirals walkthrough. The engine, by the way, is actually located under there, you know, but once again, don't need to worry too much about that, you know. And yeah, that is the Admirals walkthrough from Barnes Brinkcraft of Royal Commander. Lovely boat, cracking wee comfortable boat, and probably, I mean, mid-range price I think it is, you know. It's actually a lot of boat for not a lot of money. So thoroughly enjoying my week on board, you know, and I would actually probably recommend Royal Commander, you know. If you've got two couples, definitely. Small family, even better, you know. But lots and lots of space, and yeah, very good. So that is the end of the Admirals walkthrough. I hope you've enjoyed it. Just a quick wee look before I take the boat back to the boat yard. So that is the walkthrough of Royal Commander. So until later, I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now. Cheers!